Hello, everybody. Let me make sure I'm live here. Got a little delay between StreamYard and YouTube. Hey, we're here. Awesome. Let me know if everything sounds okay, if you can hear me okay, and we will get started. One thing to note, we've got a few people this week out in California for GDC, and Chris, who's working on our new renderer, actually gave a little talk last night, which was really fun to see. Yeah, our renderer is coming along really nicely, super powerful. So we're excited to get that moving forward, and a lot of cool things will come along with that. That renderer being released and implemented into the runtimes and things like that. So yeah, anyway, let's get started today with, oh no, we're having this issue again. So I'm going to have to, we might be okay. Okay. I'm just going to keep an eye on YouTube chat and the YouTube chat and StreamYard. It doesn't look like it's synced today. So might be something on my end. I know Pedro didn't have an issue yesterday. So anyway, I'll stop chatting about nothing and we'll get into what we're going to be looking at creating today. And so I shared this a couple weeks ago. This little animation here, I'll play it right here. So this is just a couple circles or ellipses with some trim paths that I've duplicated over and over again to get the dashed or the circles around the ellipse, and then just some glow effects using some blending modes and some scaling and skewing, which I'll show how that works here in Rive in a bit. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do something kind of like this, just to introduce people into some concepts and to kind of get an understanding of what you can do with nested artboards, which I feel like I've done quite a number of these on nested artboards, but they're really fun and they can get you pretty far without having to do a lot, just offsetting some animations. So let's go ahead and take a look at our new file. Got a new file here, and I'm actually gonna reuse our ellipse here, and I'm just gonna copy it and paste it over here. Okay, so this is our base of what we're going to be working with. I'll go ahead and align it to the center. And so I think what I'm going to do is kind of going to be I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants a bit. I have an idea of what I want to do, but we'll see if I can get it to work. So let's jump in here. So what I've got here is an ellipse, and you can see these are the all the strokes that make up the dashed or dotted line around it. And if we take a look at how this is set up inside of our stroke options, I'm just doing a round cap and then a start of 0.1. So it's just a tiny bit of the trim path is showing. And then I have transform effects off. And then I've gone ahead and just offset by 5% all the way around. So it's just taking that little dot and moving it around the circle until we get a completed dashed or dotted line. I keep saying dashed, it's dotted. So the next thing we're going to do is set up a couple groups here, and we'll name those. So this first one is going to be like our rotate group. This is going to be our scale. And we'll actually we'll do one more. It's going to be just like we'll call it our root group for now, but we might have to go back and add one more group. So the biggest, like the coolest part of this is the scale part. So if we look at this group here and we come over to our scale, on Y, I'm going to set that to 50 and leave X at 100. And then if I come over to my rotation group here, if I start scrubbing through our rotation, and let's select it, and you can kind of see what's going on. Oops, here, let's select this. That might not let me do it unless I do both. Nope. Anyway, you can kind of see, so because I have transform effects is off, we get our consistent stroke width. And then as I manipulate this rotation, you can see it gives us kind of perspective look, which is awesome for what we want to do. Let's go ahead and I think I need to adjust. I wanted to adjust this scale. So let's go back to 100 because I want to try and offset it a bit here. So let's scale it again. Okay, so this is kind of the base of what we want to do. And we're going to take this, we're going to animate it, and then we're going to duplicate it with nested artboards and then offset the timing to get some interesting effects. Feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. Like I said, this is kind of a last minute. Yesterday, I was like, okay, let's work with nested artboards and let's do something cool with this path effect. So we'll see how we do. I think time is on our side. I think I've got enough time to do and to try out a few things, but we will find out. All right, so let's create our timeline here, and we'll just name this loop. And I think I'm going to want, yeah, I've got this already set to 4 seconds. And we're just going to do one rotation. So with our rotation layer here, a rotation group, I'm going to key here and then key here at 360. Okay. And then I'm going to want some movement here. So I think we're just going to move, I think we're going to use the scale here to, we're going to move up and down on Y. So we'll start here, we'll go up a bit, then we'll come down a bit, and then we'll return at our final position here. So if we take a look at this without any easing, up, down, up. All right, and I think we can add some we want this to come in and continue here. And I think we'll do this. So we should get, the trick here is that in between. So when we loop, we want that to not stop. So I'm trying to blend between these here. Maybe something like this. And then we'll pull this out a bit. So let's see how that looks. See, animation is easy, right? Yeah. All right. And now we're going to add some scale to it. And this is going to be cool because we'll see. So we're already on our scale here, and we're going to start here. We'll key. Actually, we're going to scale this one is what we're going to do. So I named these wrong. Let's actually name this like position. And here we're going to scale. Well, yeah, I don't want to scale that one. Let's adjust this really quick. This is going to kind of throw things off, but it should be all right. Okay, what's going on here? That's because everything's moving inside. We're actually going to group, do one more group here. We're not going to key our root group. We're going to group here, I believe. Let's see here. I think this will work. Okay, so this one we're actually going to call this our scale. And we're going to position it here. Okay, so now we're going to scale from here. So we'll hit X and Y. We're going to scale up to like 150 here. And then scale down here. And you can see, I'll zoom in here, but the cool thing with the transform effects off is that instead of the dots increasing in size, the spacing is just increasing. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. I think we're getting close to what I want. Now, one more thing we can do is I think we'll adjust this scale. Now things are getting a little confusing. But what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the skew of this. So we're actually going to key this a bit. So let's see. I think we'll have it tighter here. So maybe like 35. And then as it comes up and out, it'll go to like 50. We're kind of shifting perspective and then coming back down to 35. And we'll go ahead and just add some basic cubic easing onto that. Let's see how that looks. Cool. Yeah. All right. So this is our basic loop right here. And because we've got our root group set up, we can kind of reposition this. Let's actually reset that middle. I might have to swap my batteries out. I just got a notification that my mouse batteries are low. All right. So I think that's looking pretty good. And we might adjust the speed, but we can do that. We can do that later. We can also do it in the nested artboard. So let's name this artboard our main loop. Okay. And let's add a little effect to this. Cool thing about this is since we're working with all the scale, everything's scaled inside here. So if we duplicate our ellipse here, and let's just delete all of these, and let's add a fill, and we're going to make this a radial. And you can see it's already like contracted a bit, but we do want to scale it up. Let's actually adjust the size. How about that? So if we adjust the size here, let's play with our radial gradient here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the center is going to be opaque. And then we're going to add another stop and crunch it up here. So we're kind of building like at the very edge, right around where our dots are. We're going to build our gradient off of that. And then this will make, we'll actually use this color here and just fade it out. So pasting that there, and then we'll drop the opacity way down. Then we'll do the same for this one. Opacity's down. And do the same here. So we're consistent with everything. All right, so I got that on there. We can kind of drag this out a bit, and then we can play with the overall opacity too. It's pretty rad. And we'll adjust the blending mode on it. color dodge. And I just play with different settings here. That looks kind of nice. Maybe drop the opacity of it. And then we can duplicate a few of these and build up another effect. Let's go ahead and set our background fill to adjust our do a hard light here because we're on a darker background. Okay, we'll do this. This looks good. So let's play it. Pretty cool. So now we can start playing around with nested artboards. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hide the background here. We're going to make another artboard. And this is going to be where we're going to compose everything. Set this to black. And you know what? We might adjust our, let's see. Let's adjust our origin here. That way it'll be easier to position things. And then we can set this back to 0, 0. And then when we add our nested artboard to this, we're going to actually make this bigger. When we add our nested artboard, it'll appear right in the center of, instead of being offset to the upper left. And it's just a little easier to manipulate this stuff. All right, so we've got our animation playing without doing much because it's just playing this state machine loop right now. But we're actually going to want to grab the animation here. So to do that, with our nested artboard selected, we'll remove the state machine and we'll add the loop animation. And we're going to remap it. And that's going to allow us to manipulate the time. So if we go back to our timeline, let's give ourselves like 10 seconds. And then we're gonna do some adjust the work area so we can get a nice loop going. But here we're gonna go timeline. And we're just gonna key, let's see, I believe it was 4 seconds. Yep. So when we remap it, we're gonna want to set it for set our remap time from 0 to 100 to take 4 seconds on the timeline. Set that to 100. And now we should play it and then it should stop. Yep. Okay. Perfect. All right. So now we're going to duplicate a few of these and we're going to offset them. So let's just see what happens. Zandercore, what's going on? Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm just playing around with some trim paths and nested artboards and stuff like that. All right, so we've got this and we're just going to duplicate it. Oops. Duplicate it here. Maybe. Let's go into design mode and duplicate this, and then we'll come back here and paste. Yeah, I just did. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. I just explained, you're talking about the state machine versus individual animations. And this is pretty simple. I just have one looping animation for this. But if you look at the state machine, you know, it's set up by default to grab your first animation and play it. So that's over here what I did. If I if you select main loop here, you can see it'll grab the state machine by default. So it'll grab the default state machine over here. And then you can remove that. So or you can add it in addition, but I like to remove it and then add this loop. And I'm working with remap for this. So yeah, you can have a bunch of animations in here and you can kind of manipulate them. Yeah, it's really cool. There's still a lot of it. I haven't played with the mixing very much. So you can actually use this to mix between two animations. Maybe if I have enough time, I might play around with it, but that's something I need to dive into a bit more. So I normally use this remap and just play with the time. So yeah, let's get back to what we were doing here. Yeah, so so I'll show you. So it's basically the time of this animation here, right? So this is a 4-second animation. Over here, if I key time at 0% and then 100%, so that way it'll play that 4 seconds. And right now it's playing it over the course of 4 seconds, but I can change it to 2 seconds, so it'll speed it up. So it's kind of like, I don't know how much you played around in After Effects, but it's just like stretching a composition or adjusting the composition. Yeah. All right, so we've got this. I'm gonna have to name these or I'm gonna get confused. So we'll call this, let's do like 1, 2. I know that's not very clever, but I'm not very clever. And then here we're gonna do the same, key the time. We'll just copy these, paste them here. So now we have 2. And when I start to offset these a bit, once I get the loop going, it's going to be, it'll give kind of a cool donut effect. Yeah, I think it is the difference between After Effects and Rive is just that. I mean, for me, it's just instead of thinking about a static animation, it looks like, in After Effects, you're just thinking pretty linearly. And I know, like, if you're making game animations or assets, like you're thinking a little bit about states, but in Rive, I'm constantly thinking about layering animations and breaking out little loops and things like that. So yeah, they're the same but different in a lot of regards. They're the same, but there's so many differences that it can get a little bit hard to deal with. Just getting your head wrapped around. I don't know. I never did anything too wild in After Effects. Like I keyed stuff. I keyed rotation, scale. I started getting into a little bit of scripting and doing a little bit of dynamic stuff, but mostly it was just, we had some presets. I worked as a motion designer for Treehouse, and we had, our like brand presets for our animating in and out, and brand style was all kind of established. So yeah, that's what I did. Yep. This MP4. Here's my 30-second motion graphic clip. Now plug it into the main video and let's roll. All right. So we're going to do a few of these. And we'll just, duplicate is being kind of goofy here. So right now I'm duplicating in design mode and coming back to animate mode. It's like duplicating it's not what I want. Delete this one. Okay. And we want to key the time here. 0, 100. Then we'll just reposition these ones. And I should probably adjust these at a maybe like 20 probably would be good. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. I also feel like there's a lot of stuff like with and you've already messed around with a lot of the mesh stuff. Like you can't, you can use the puppet stuff and do some deformations and things like that. But I think the amount of control like that's built into Rives, um, the editor. Sorry, I was looking at this and thinking. All right, I think we're getting close. But what I want to do is offset enough of these that we get kind of a loop, like a donut, a 3-dimensional donut looking thing. Yeah, I was always a big fan of like a lot of the spine stuff I would see, which is really amazing. I always wanted to try that, and Rive made it kind of easy to jump into rigging and stuff like that. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm just like at this point, obviously, there's reasons why I'm past it. I don't need to worry about spine. Um, but yeah, the cool thing is, yeah, right. That's perfect. Hey, you should make that. Just kidding. My brain is not working today. Yeah, you can go back and watch. If you watch spine tutorials, a lot of the concepts carry over. Some of the rigging stuff and all that. I know they've got some features that we don't, but you can get some basic idea of how to set some of the meshes up. All right. So one thing, I think I'm going to adjust the size of these. Maybe. Let's see how easy I can do this. Just going to do like 6. Maybe 6s. Let's do 5. I think they're a little too big. This is something that I was talking about, some of our folks being at GDC, and Chris, who's been working on our new renderer, gave a little talk last night. And this is something that the new renderer should enable us to do, is like dashed dotted strokes. So I'm looking forward to that. It's not you, it's me. I just get easily distracted. And also because I'm kind of doing this a bit on the fly. I'm thinking and trying to do it at the same time, and that's dangerous. Okay, so let's take a look here. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. I hope so. I know that's on it's on our tapered strokes is something we want. Yep. I've heard it called like variable width. Variable. I've heard it called a ton of things. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. Though it would be really nice. You can fake it a bit in Rive right now, but it requires duplicating a bunch of strokes, and then like I'll pull up if I can find the file. I was kind of hacking around with it and came up with a really uh, a workaround that once you get set up, you can reuse it, and you can now with our copy styles, you could kind of have like a palette of different effects. Like you could have dotted strokes, dash strokes that you've set up, and then just copy that onto your new um, shape. So you kind of set up like a style palette that you could pull in to your file you're working on. All right, we are going to keep working on this. Let's duplicate this one. I don't know how many of these we're going to need, but we'll find out. 0, 100. Okay, and then we're offsetting by 20. And I think, you know what? Let's use some, if it's by 20, and we have these handy little hotkeys where we can move it by 10. Let's just use that. I can figure out the right keys. There. I'm using I'm not using a Mac keyboard, and I'm on a Mac, and so I get confused. All right, I think it's going to look pretty cool once we get it all looping. I mean, it's just supposed to be. It could be a loader. Yeah, it's just going to be a looping animation. I just wanted to play around with some nested artboard stuff, but I mean, it could. There's a lot of things I could do with it. But for now, I just want to get the loop set up and kind of working how I see it in my head. I wonder why it's doing that. Okay, so we've got 4. This is essentially 4, right? Just rename it here. 5. Okay. And then on 5, we're going to key again. So it's just a lot of keying. I just can copy these here. Select these. Cool. Getting close. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could do that. Nested artboards are fun. It'll be nice when you can access the inputs, though. So right now you can kind of do that, like with the animations. You can pull in your animations from a nested artboard and then add them to timelines and set up your state machine logic that way. But yeah, for anything like that's just a repeated, and the cool thing is like inputs, like listeners work on them. So like if you had an interaction on one card, it will work. Like if you had a click or hover, it'll work. You just have to bring the state machine over and not the animation. Okay. So I think we're going to do one more. That's why because the duplicated one goes above. So now, okay, that makes sense. Yep. I forgot that our stack goes up. Oops. Paste this. Undo this. Undo this. And now the trick here is we need to set up our loop. And the thing with nested artboards is, so what I'm going to need to do is we're going to need to find where do we want this to loop. So we'll make our work area. We'll do like between 3 and 7, I think. Three and 7 is where we want to loop. And then we're going to want to, we're going to have to make this longer. Because we probably need 4 and 7, right? So I know that the loop is 4 seconds. So I want a 4-second, the work area to be 4. And then I want to loop back. So I'm going to want a copies of keys back here, although I don't think I can do it. So with the time remapping, since it's 0 to 100, and then it goes back to, like, you have to set it to go back to 0. It doesn't work, so you have to duplicate it and then offset it. So I need like this duplicated, and then like have it play to here. I'll show you what I mean here. So if I duplicate this, which it's not letting me do. Okay, we'll duplicate this over here to offset. I have to name it weird stuff. So for 2 offset, I'll copy these keys, copy these. Oops. All right, so I need to pull these back to here. So this is like my one loop, right? So I need a copy of all of these so that it's the loop works. Oh yeah, go to work area here, and then it'll give you these blue markers up here, and you can adjust them. If that's what is that what you're asking about? Yeah, the work area is great, especially for loops. Yeah, thanks Juan for hanging out. I'll get it wrapped up and posted, and the replay will be on YouTube. But I'm glad you could make it for a bit. I need to get moving. I'm gonna run out of time. I thought I'd be fine today, but all right. So we need to do this 3 offset. And normally, I think we're working on something. There's some kind of bug where duplicating in animate mode is not working, because I should be able to select one of these and duplicate. Oh, now it works. Okay, maybe it is working. That's great. That is helpful. Forget what I said. I might have just been trying something. All right. let's get this thing finished. So this one I want to pull back to here, like this. And then I'm going to have to key opacity, I believe. All right. And then, so now if this is true, yeah, that's what I want. So that makes it a lot easier. I don't know what's going on, but it wasn't working before. Could have been I had something else selected. 4 offset, and I'll duplicate 5. I see, no, it's not working. Oh, that might be why. Haha, because I had keys selected, so it was duplicating the keys. Gotcha. That is what the problem was. And I'm blocking layers, aren't I? Let me hide myself, or I'm gonna just do my screen so you can see the layers. Oh, I'll add a root group to this. I did root over here. Boom. Yeah, I'll go ahead and throw those all in a group. I'm not animating a position or anything yet, so I'll be okay. But good call. Thank goodness Robert's not around. Be in trouble. All right, so we've got 5 offset. I can't get away with, I'll just do it later. All right, and this is 6 offset. And we are getting close here. And I think the last thing I'll have to do is, like I said, key opacity on this. Oh, we want to set this to loop. Okay, so yeah, the one thing, like I said, I need to. Hey, thanks. It's turning out kind of how I wanted it to. The thing I need to do here is, so we need to key opacity, right? That way we don't get duplicates just hanging out. So we'll key it here. 0, 4, 0. I hope all this is fairly straightforward. So all I'm really doing is, I have one looping animation, and then I duplicated a bunch of times and offset the timing. So I did remap, offset the timing of them, so that they play at different, they start at different times but play the same loop. Something's not right here. Okay, hold on. Oh, one of these is not moving. One of these is not playing. Like, what's this one here? Let's find it. Let's see. 0. Loop. Thanks, Pedro. I'm confused. I've confused myself though. Um, so that should hide. Oh, is it because? Okay, yeah, that's. I need to key these two. That's what I thought. Um, these actually need to be keyed. So when they swap, so here we're gonna go 0 and then 100. That's the ticket. So here we'll go 0, 100, 0, 100, 5. Oh, and also, this is one of those things that will be a lot easier if we add repeaters, which we've talked about. So you'd basically create an animation, then duplicate a bunch of it and offset the timing of it. So that would make it, this stuff would be super easy to do. A lot of the manual work I'm doing, you wouldn't need to do. Did we fix it? We still got one that's not moving. What is the deal? Which one is it? So one. Can find it here, I think. That one. That one. This is exciting, isn't it? There it is. Why is 4 not playing? Oh, because I have those messed up. All right, sorry, I messed up here. All right, our loop goes from 0 to 100. It's 4. We need to move it here. Back. And then our offset is wrong. I see. Our opacity needs to be there we go. Close. To offset. I made this harder than it should be. Ah. It's never, that's the ticket. Should be 100 here. 0 here, right? All right. We got it. Thanks. Yeah, I was missing a key. So now the cool thing is, if we want, we can go over here and we can adjust things here. So we can change the Y, like if we want it to be a bit tighter, adjust it here. And then, ooh, yeah. So you can start to play with that would be sweet. Yeah, it'd be cool if you could place nodes along a path and then swap out all that. Yeah, you could. I mean, you could make them diamonds. I think I'd have to adjust all of them, but if you, yeah, not really diamonds, but I could set all these like this. Or set every other one, but I don't think that looks as nice. I think they need to be smaller still, to be honest. If I'm being truthful about it, I think they could be 4. Oops. Oops. Do a lot of that. Oops. I messed up. I miskeyed. So this is, like I said, if we had dashed lines, dotted lines, you just change this once and you wouldn't have to key all this. This is just getting me practice for taxes, right? Doing my taxes. Let's see how that looks over here. Yeah. I like it. I think it's kind of cool. And you could do more. We could do more of these. And it'd actually be super easy now that I've got these all set up. I think I can. Like I can add one more. Nope. Oh boy, don't do that. Did I just break it? Let's see. Okay, that's okay. I'll do it over here. We want to deselect all the keys though. This looks like keys are selected. Shrinking numbers is yeah, it's good practice. All right, let's see. Do I have keys selected? No. So I should be able to duplicate these and name them 7. And down here, you can grab, let's keep things organized, right? Pull these under here. And then in our timeline, we can go 7, grab these, and what did we say? Can move them ahead to, so now we've got one more. And I just wonder if I were to add a ton more of those, how that would look. Yeah, I like that. I think it's cool. I think we could, we'll drop, it's kind of mesmerizing as you look at it here. We could drop the opacity of the dots or the dotted line when it gets like it when it's in the middle. Let's try that. Oh, let's try one more thing, and then I think we're going to call it. Oh yeah. Okay, instead of doing that, let's do what you just said. Yes, let's do that. Let's drop this out. This will be our like comp, and then we'll do one more artboard here. black. And then we're just going to add a nested artboard. Grab our comp, and then I'm going to take the, I should really have named that, but all right. So yeah, so here it should all play. That loop was 4, right? So we can do our remap. 0, 100. So this should play and loop. Okay. And then there's a few things we can do. We can actually play with this. So that's super cool. The end half, snappier. Not like that, but yeah, it's like this is where it gets really fun, is manipulating like the time. I mean, it's all fun, but oh, I'm just playing around. And you can overshoot it. What's that going to do? Yeah. Yep, fun stuff. Oh, but I know what I was going to, yeah. So now we can adjust like the playback speed here. Let's put this back to linear. So we can do really slow. And then in our state machine, we can do like a blend where we can have we could have one that's like playing it, we'll play it at slow speed. So this will be like 0.5, this will be slow, duplicate, and this will be fast, and this one will play at like 4. Whoa! Yeah. So then we'll set up a blend here. We need an input. Call this speed. And then we can add our slow is 0. Fast. Oops. Fast is 100. And then we can kind of oh, this is the problem you were having, isn't it? Let's see if doing that reset that we talked about will work. This should work. Let's see. I wonder. No, we're still getting that. Huh. So fast, 0 to 100. Oh, I know why. I know what we want to do. This is going to be, this is what we want to do. Let's, instead of doing the, I think it has to do, I'm talking to myself. Let's try this. I think we want to adjust it here. I'm just going to try something here. So we're going to keep this at 1. Keep this at 1. But then we're actually going to change. So our slow is going to be, if this doesn't work, there's one more. I set something like this up for somebody on Discord. So that's our slow. Then our fast is going to be 1. Whoops. Grab our key first. Our fast is going to be 1. Nope. So this is, okay, so this is what we need to do. We want to actually use the simple and change the speed here. I think this will work. And let's set it to 0.5. I knew there's a way. I had set this up before. Playing and 4. And now we're going to, where's my keys? Okay, that's fast. Did I not key this? I didn't. I think this one will work. And then we'll just set these to there it is. So yeah, it does matter. I totally didn't. I wasn't catching what you were saying. Okay, let's see. If you're blending only in that additive blend, I don't. It's the way that the blend works. Yeah. So with this reset layer, 50. So if we look at what we've got here, right? So we've got 0.5 and then 4. So if you look at like, this is our slowest speed, this is our fastest speed. 50 should be like right in the middle of those two, the 0.5 and the 4. If you don't have this here, it's I believe it kind of like I don't want to say exponential, but additive. So it goes, the curve is a bit different. So it kind of ramps up as you get closer to 100 instead of it being a linear 0 to 100. So yeah, I think we got something kind of cool. Adjust the speed of it. And I think we could add more stuff to it, but I like where we ended up. Yeah, exactly. So it's just the way that it works. I know that it's been explained a lot of times to me, but I just ignore it. I don't ignore it. I just forget what they actually are telling me. I just know that you need to add this if you want like a loader bar to go from 0 to 100 correctly. Otherwise it won't work. All right. Well, I think that's about my time. I'm gonna make people happy. Just really. Oh, we had one hiding. I'm gonna root this up. Part of me really wants to duplicate them so they're all around, like they're all around, but I don't think I have the time to do it. And the cool thing is you could do another one and scale it down. Ooh, I kind of want to do it. All right, I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to take one more of these. Duplicate it. And then scale it. Oh, I should have adjusted that, but that's all right. We'll put it like inside of here and just see what it does. It might be too much. Oh Lord, what have I done? And I'd have to tie its time too. I don't really love that. I think if we made it bigger, it might make more sense. I think it's getting too noisy. Nope. So we could play with something that would work, but I'm going to leave it as is. I think this turned out kind of fun. Again, you could play with some more of the rotation stuff on it. But yeah, kind of fun little effect. I hope you learned something. Yeah, you're right. They should be offset to look better, but hello. Came and went. All right, so we're done. I think that's the stream. Yeah, if you have any questions after the fact, let me know. Ask one of the creative team members. We can answer your stuff. You're always active in Discord, Xander, so you already know the drill. But yeah, so I think that wraps up our streaming for this week. Next week, I think everybody will be back. So we'll have our Tuesday live stream at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then we'll have our creative session on Wednesday. And then I don't think we'll have a workshop next week. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. I like playing around with this stuff. I think it's a fun experimentation, and adding a little interactivity with the state machine to kind of adjust the speed, I think, is something you wouldn't be able to do necessarily in other apps. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we will talk to you all online.